Hi, what's going on guys, Liam here, and in today's video I have the best Paragon myth build for you guys for 5th age PvP. Now, keep in mind, this is my opinion. There is a lot of different ways to play myth right now. You can run like a Highlands, Merciless hybrid build if you want. You can go with all-out Mandar jewels and get like 3 or 4 copies of Mandar. However, with my build, I tried to, incorporate everything, resist, having Mandar still be an option, stuff like that, Trap Stack still be an option. Just trying to mix and match everybody's playstyle into one build, just to make it the best build really is what I'm going for in today's video. But do keep in mind, it is my opinion, guys, and let's see if we can crush about 35 or 40 likes on today's video. And if you guys are new, I do post every single day, so feel free subscribing. We're trying to get to 2K subs for 2023. And I would really appreciate it. But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright, so I think the first thing I'm going to go over in the video is probably the statistics. So, you get about 9.6k HP, which is honestly pretty good for a myth. I've seen other myths get like 9.3, 9.2, 9.1. So the health automatically is just really good for a myth wizard. You get 141 damage, which is very good for this meta. 56 resist, you can get that to 58 with a mighty pet, you'll see it later on. You'll have about 90 flat res, keep in mind I'm just missing a jewel right now on my wand. Your accuracy will be 24% if you have a 15% jewel. Unfortunately, I do not have it right now, as you can see. I only have the 14%. So basically what that means is you won't fizzle any of your normal hits, but you do have a 1% chance to fizzle your actual shad hits. Now, if that makes you uncomfortable, you could obviously swap out any piece of this gear to run a Highland piece that gives, pip chance and more accuracy. However, for my build and, stuff like that, I think this is just better. You get really cracked stats all around the board, as you'll see, to the point where 1% chance isn't that big of a deal. You could always infile Reliquary, right? So there's ways to get around stuff like that. Pierce enchant as well, obviously. Then next page, you're gonna see the numbers again are absolutely just mind-boggling. I wasn't lying when I told you guys the stats are really good for a myth. You get the same critical as a storm wizard for some reason. You get 600 block for some reason. 40 pierce. Again, if you have a mighty pet, you can actually get 41 pierce and 2 more resist. Then you get 60% pip conserve, which is honestly really good for a myth. The myth really does need this. You could get it higher if you want to, but you give up stats if you're gonna do that. So I wouldn't really recommend it in my opinion. I think 60 is a good number to keep your stats good. You have perfect pips and 121 shad rating. Right now, shad rating is kind of wildly inaccurate. I've let Rapier know, that's pretty wild. So basically, if you guys don't know, 120 shads and 140, there's not that much of a difference. It just really comes down to the RNG and the shad rating at that point. I've let Rapier know, maybe they can make a bigger gap, because right now, if you run a Shadow Wand, for example, it doesn't really do anything for you, and that's kind of a problem, right? Because you would be consciously sacrificing, stats to have shad rating, but the shad rating doesn't always work, right? So, that's why I just don't think it's that important, I guess, for a myth specifically, and for a lot of other schools. But, a school like Storm, I'd recommend, obviously, maxing your shad rating, because Rusolka is very important, right? But, I thought I would just explain that to you guys real quick. There's not much of a difference. It just comes down to RNG. And I did report this to Rapier, and, hopefully the system can get better in the future. So, yeah, that is the pages, guys. Now I'm going to show you guys how to get the build. So, you're going to want the Merciless Myth Cap. You're going to want the Motorist Robe. Again, you can swap one of these 3 pieces here for a Highland piece to, maybe get perfect pips, get better accuracy if you want. Mercy shoes, again, you run this stuff if you want to play full glass cannon, obviously, and you do get 2 6-round reliquaries, which is pretty good for a myth wizard. Merciless wand. The reason I like this wand is because, you know, you get the myth wand hits to kill minions, right? Break set shields. You go for a Mandar. You get pip conserve. You get good damage. You get good, really good critical. I think that's actually better than Storm's critical, if I'm not wrong, or if I'm not mistaken. And then you get, you know, good block, which is helpful, and still the same amount of pierce. So, again, Supreme is nice, but you know, shad rating just doesn't really work the statistic right now, unfortunately. So I just don't think it's that big of a deal for a school like Myth. Next up, you're gonna want the Merciless Athame. If you guys can, try and get the best health jewels possible. Unfortunately, you know, I have 7 wizards, so I can't get 145 health jewels for everybody. But, you know, you're obviously gonna want your 6% pierces, and your best health jewel. And you are going to want 1 pip socket and 1 accuracy socket specifically for this build. Next up, this is kind of where it gets a bit freaky and I guess controversial. I've heard a lot of people telling me, hey Liam, balance mastery is good. Hey Liam, fire mastery is pretty good. Now, I'm going to go in depth on why I personally think ice or the death mastery or like literally anything is good. Myth is just in a good spot right now in the meta, to be honest. It has a lot going for it. It doesn't really, I don't really think there's a best mastery for Myth, honestly, like, because you don't really need, you know, blade counters. You could always just Quake, right? But I think it really is nice to have a mastery like this, especially for the pip conserve on a school like Myth, right? But, the reason I like this one is because, you know, Myth is the trapping school, and your traps actually set up your Scion, right? And with Surge being gone, you really struggle to do any damage on a Myth, assuming you're not spamming the Mandar strat, of course, assuming you're playing regular Myth. You're really going to want to go for your Gambits, which are trap reliant, so if I get a Blade Stacker, I can take off their blades, set up my Scion, especially with the Maple Moose pet that you'll see here in a couple of minutes. So I can get these fuels up, set up my Scion, and just one-shot people pretty easily. I can also set up a Trickster Oni if I play a Death or a Balance, right, which is really good damage per pip. You know, then you got cards like Delusion, which is just a traps, obviously. You have a lot of good cards on a Myth, and I don't know, I've had, you know, pretty fun time using the Ice Mastery, and it's pretty nice just to almost like, you know, if you're getting a Blade Stacker or a Trap Stacker, you could just literally put that all back onto them and then one-shot them, even though you're not really doing a PvE strat. It's just the result of their own actions, so it's pretty cool, in my opinion. But, yeah, I did say you can run, like, Goon if you want. It's not terrible. If you want to do a Mandar strat, this is probably the best bet for you, right? You get an extra Mandar copy, and I believe you get a little bit more pip conserve. Actually, it's about the same. Never mind, my bad. So you run that if you want. If you want to do the Myth Mandar strat, then of course we just have the Merciless Myth ring here. Nothing too new. Again, just be sure you have your best health jewels possible. Then the pet you're gonna want is this bad boy right here. Again, you heard me say towards the start of the video, you could swap out Pain Giver for Mighty. That was not a bad pet either. However, if you run Mighty, you only have 136 damage. So, although you would have, you know, 58 Pierce and, you know, sorry, let me put this pet on. So yeah, you have 136 damage, 58 resist, right? And you would get 1 more Pierce. You do lose about like 5 damage or so. And considering how high your Pierce is, I would just rather take the damage at that point, in my personal opinion. So that is why I prefer having the extra Pain Giver slot on this one. But if you have a pet that is just Mighty instead of Pain Giver, that is absolutely fine. Just be sure that you can suck at the D-Lance, because it's very important and very crucial. Or Pippo Plenty, sorry, to get the perfect pips and the perfect stats in this scenario. Next up, like literally every single other video, you're gonna need the rock mount with the D-Lance to make up for the fact that you don't get pips onto your pieces right here. So again, that gets us above 100% to 101. So be sure you have your rock mount and your D-Lance if you can. If you don't have the rock mount or either or, you'd probably want to get it as high as possible. So for example, if you have D-Lance but not the rock mount, you could run like a set bonus pet, right, theoretically, and you know, still get decent stats, but obviously you would pip fail more. So just be very conscious of what's going on there. Then I recommend the Supreme Founders deck. I don't have it, unfortunately, on this character. You could run the Ancient One deck or the Critical one with the Pip Conserve. The Pip Conserve one would actually help you out quite a bit. I think that would get you up to like 83% or something if you're, you know, a big Pip Conserve maniac. Personally, I don't really care that much for it. Even if I have a 40% chance, I can serve quite a bit. So it just really depends on your playstyle. I like to play aggressive, have good crit and block, so I'll take the health and the crit and block with a school like Myth. When my conserve is already, you know, 60%, that's what I prefer personally. But Supreme Old Judge deck or Ancient One are also good alternatives. But yeah, that's I think everything we covered in the video. I guess the only other thing I could bring up is, you know, if you don't want to run a Maple Moose, you could probably get like a bubble pet, like that little monkey guy, or a Myth Sabertooth in the kiosk as well is pretty good. But the reason I like this is if you spam like 3 of them, right? Not only do you set up your Scion for Myth, that is 9 hits you can take essentially, and you can do a lot of combos, especially with the tiered up Minotaur, right? Unfortunately, I can't get it right now because it is extremely unfair for max wizards to get spell elements. Other, you know, people who don't have 7 maxes have a literally like 400% easier time getting the spell elements. So basically what I'm saying is this is really good if you can have it with the fuel pet. Sorry, good god, I'm losing my mind right now. My bad. Yeah, it's really good. The bottom tier with the fuel, right? I just don't have access to it, and not everybody in the game has access to it because of how bad this development system is at the moment. But yeah, I really recommend the Moose Pet. Again, it sets up the Scion, sets up your Minotaur, and it's just a really good buff for, you know, 3 cards. But you do have to be careful of obviously reading the scales, so try and do this at a good time. Don't just try and throw it out there like you used to. You kind of have to be a bit more strategic with it. But yeah, I think that's really all I got for today's video. Again, I do think this is the best overall Myth build in my opinion, assuming you're not going all out crazy Mandar weird strat, you know. That's fine if you want to do that. I'll be probably posting more videos with a, you know, a Highland build, a Mandar build. You'll see that in the future. But overall statistics, I think this is the best for Myth in my opinion, guys. Again, be sure to get a 15% accuracy jewel if you can. It'll help you out quite a bit. I just don't have it in this video, so yeah, without further ado, I will see you guys in the next one, and thank you for making it this far in the video. And as always, oh my god, I cannot talk today. Good god. As always, take care, guys.